Wow, we get straight to it, just straight in the middle of Shawn Michaels' entrance. I like it. We do get the title sequence, but after the introduction from the commentators. And then Duggan. I don't love Duggan, but this moment, that I love. Let's talk about this match a bit then. As a whole, no, this isn't very interesting because it takes two to tango. And in this match, it's a tree stump against a wrestler fighting. There is a whole lot of stalling in this match, and really it's all because Duggan is an entertainer, but not really a wrestler, especially after the 80s. Nothing wrong with that, though. Let's not go and say things I haven't said. Wrestling needs a bit of everything, and people like Duggan, they also have their place in wrestling, definitely. It's a bit much here, though, as we have literally one move in the first 3 minutes, even counting strikes. HBK goes above and beyond to bump for this match to make it a bit interesting to watch. I'm sure though that for really patriotic people, that match wasn't bad, because they could go along with Duggan's antics. Finally, HBK gets the lead for a little bit, but other than that leapfrog body guillotine, it's not really that interesting, with mostly just some strikes and grounded offense. And then finally a real move with a double axe handle from the top. He's doing his best to get this to resemble a match. There are a couple of chin locks too. Wrestling bios would be proud. Pretty rough kitchen sink. Again, it takes two to have a good wrestling match. Does this match have some heat with the crowd though? You can say yes because people like Duggan here and they wanted to see something good for him here. So again, you can say what you want, but the match gets the right reaction. Oh wow, a third chin lock from Michaels. I won't do it, that's not my thing. The turn from Duggan with a good little clothesline, and then that's basically the finish of the match as we go to the outside for both men, and they don't get back in the ring. I won't really say that this match is a good one. It's not. It's plodding, a bit long, but in the end, it's a setup. And the people liked it anyway too, right? Duggan then takes a couple of chairs and stays in the ring demanding for a rematch, and he stays a while. Thankfully, he does get what he wants, and so we don't have just Duggan in the ring for 45 minutes. And so we get to the next segment with our first real King of the Ring report. June the 13th is in 6 weeks for us. The final Raw before the pay-per-view is going to be number 20. Stay tuned for that, guys, and also for the second Greater Booking video going to the show. We get back with a new match, and this is an interesting one. Doink, and this is for real Matt, and you can see it. And his opponent, The Kid. Lightning, Kamikaze, Just the Kid, Shawn Waltman. You know him, and also, you're seeing him get plastered here. Seriously, this is a very rough squash match. The Kid barely gets a couple of elbows, and then he gets wrecked into a million pieces and humiliated, just like basically any jobber against a heel. Why am I talking about that as a positive? Because you know the story. We will have it in the coming weeks in full. For now, all you need to know, this was a strategic play. The Kid was not a jobber, but he was made to look like one for now. Then we get a much less interesting jobber match with Backland. Honestly, this one doesn't have any upside, other than that great final pin as always, because Backland's technique really looks good, and also this power display from Backland to get Dwayne Gill on the top rope. We also hear about the Lumberjack match for next week from Duggan with a promo. Not a very involved promo, but this was just one made to give you the hype for next week's match, where at least there would be less running and more fighting? Or more like rest holds. Another little Smoking Guns promo, this time with the actual namesake, The Guns. Lou Albano, probably the biggest responsible of the rock and wrestling era from the mid-80s. Absolutely a legend, and there's no other way around that for what wrestling is, much like Hogan, unfortunately. Lou Albano is on commentary for this whole match, and actually is also on the booth when the show gets redubbed too. Yes, all of those taped shows get redubbed, and you can hear it and see it whenever you look at the commentary booth during a match. Lou Albano, he's got some mic skills, by the way. He's interesting because of the way he talks on the microphone, even if it's sometimes a bit demented. Meanwhile, the Headshrinkers are going strong with some pretty great moves. This is an entertaining squash match because of the commentary and the fact these guys are going pretty hard. What's quite distracting though is that you can hear the second commentary track before the redub. I don't know if this is because of the version I used for the show, but that's a bit weird. At the same time, we see some beautiful moves like that perfect sidekick and that spike pile driver. The Headshrinkers are really interesting in the ring. They have a pretty diverse moveset and they've shown us some interesting offense for real. And we finish with a Kamala squash. Nothing to see here, just interesting that there's no slick, I guess. Not that it was very interesting anyway, because it's Kamala. I don't have anything to say about this, really. It's Kamala. Do you recognize this man? Let me give you a bit of a hint. You've maybe seen him during the Attitude Era make an impression with DX of Owen Hart. A bit of a promo with HBK at least, just him talking about the fact that he's not happy with this match and mad at the corporate. That's it, we don't really have a lot more with this. And that's the show. I mean, the only thing of really huge importance is the first match, and then we have the start of the kid story. I don't have much more to say about this show as it's quite inconsequential and just a building block again for the next couple of weeks. I know, I have said that last week too, but really, you will see that it gets really good soon. However then, for this week, I'm giving the show only about a 2.5 out of 10. Not strong at all. The Duggan and HBK match was pretty weak this time, and with very low amounts of action, and after that, squashes, squashes, squashes. Next week then, we have some more action, the Lumberjack rematch for the title, another kid squash match, and a qualifying match for the King of the Ring tournament. See you next week.